let's go with Microsoft. Microsoft is like kicking off E3
Sweet.
essentially. So if you don't know, E3 is not happening, officially this year. The ESA is not hosting an in-person event, and they're not doing a digital event. Jeff Keighley is doing his Summer Game Fest stuff during that same time. But like most people have been saying for years, it won't stop publishers just kind of doing it themselves. So Microsoft has announced a Microsoft and Bethesda showcase for June 12th, which is pretty much when they would have done it if E3 was still happening anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, is there a difference? Probably not, no. So, yeah, that's happening on June 12th at 6... it's 6 p.m. here, UK time for Eurogamer, so I think that's 8 p.m. our
South
time.
Africa, yeah.
Time, which is not terrible. At least it's not like fucking midnight or something.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that they refer to it as the Xbox and Bethesda showcase and not just the Xbox showcase?
So I think part of the thing when Microsoft purchased Bethesda was they specifically said that they were going to keep it as so it is owned, it's under the Xbox brand, but for branding purposes, they keep it as a separate entity so that the Bethesda name still hangs around. Because I think there's still a lot of cachet with that name,
also,
I mean?
and you're right. No, a lot of the stuff's coming to multiple platforms anyway. Well, we'll see.
It's also true, yeah. It's also true.
It's just
so it's not just Xbox.
What happens next year? Like, are we going to get the Xbox and Bethesda and Blizzard Activision showcase?
I'm almost certain that will happen.
Come on.
You know, Warcraft and Diablo are Blizzard games. You look at them and you think Blizzard. So for the name Blizzard to just be, it's the same as when Activision purchased Blizzard, they kept the Blizzard name. They just
for sure
make them Activision. So yeah,
that makes sense. It's just
it is.
I find it interesting that with all these acquisitions, like we're just gonna have these very long names.
I totally understand.
Well, what are you expecting from this showcase? We're gonna get
I think the biggest thing is Starfield. It has to be the first
actual
gameplay of Starfield because the game's out in November. So
I do think that this will be a big showcase for them though, because this is a thing of like 2-3 years ago when they announced we've acquired this person and this person and this person. You go, okay, cool. Like we'll give you time. Now it's that time of cool. What have all your studios been working on, outside of Starfield and all of that? Like, I think the top of this article has, it's Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Indiana Jones, Hellblade, but like, what else? What else are they working on? I wonder, like, what surprises are we going to get from these other studios who've been quiet?
Well, that's the thing. I think there's a lot of room for surprises, and there's tons of room for them to give updates on existing projects. So like you said, Hellblade 2, which was announced, feels ages ago now.
4,000 years ago.
Yeah, but Ninja Theory at the time said they were working on the next version of Unreal for Hellblade 2, and now Unreal Engine 5 is out, so could we see a more substantial demo now that sort of engine technology is out there and like more public? I hope so. I don't think that game's out this year still. I think that is a game they show off and be like, it's out next year. I mean? I think it's about time we get a release date on that. But there's a bunch. Like on the Bethesda side, Machine Games is working on an Indiana Jones game that they announced last year. Arcane is working on Redfall, which is supposed to be releasing this year.
I'm sure we'll get gameplay on that as well. What about, is it Obsidian? They're doing Avowed.
Avowed, yeah, the very Skyrim-ish looking thing, so they're good updates on that. Bethesda Game Studios could also, Starfield is going to be their big one, so I don't think they're going to stray much from that, but they could give an additional tease of, Elder Scrolls or a fucking new Fallout or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you've got others like the Eurogamer article points out here. You've got Rare with Everwild.
Oh, true,
Playground Games with Fable.
And Perfect Dark.
The Initiative and now Crystal Dynamics working on Perfect Dark. So yeah, I don't know. And like you said, there's so many surprises there. There's so many smaller studios that Microsoft owns now, like Double Fine. You've got, what is that other one that made? You got the State of Decay people.
I can't remember what they're called.
Well, so there's so many little
is in development.
Compulsion Games, the people made We Happy Few, they're working on something else as well.
Are they owned by Microsoft?
Yep, they're owned by
Microsoft.
So yeah, there's lots of space for like, updates on these big heavy hitters, but then teasers at smaller things that are maybe closer to launch than we expect. And
Mm.
I hope so, because the last thing Microsoft needs right now is another showcase to be like, cool, this is the future we are building towards. Like, it has
Like,
been
no,
3 years.
this
We need
is,
to start
yeah.
delivering.
Yeah,
Like,
this generation's going on 2 years
yeah.
old now. Like, it's
Yeah, we're
time.
almost 2 years into this gen. It needs to start hitting now. Like, those acquisitions were made 3-4 years ago, or started, being made 3-4 years ago. So the Bethesda one is still new, but those other
Mm.
ones need to start delivering.
Yeah.
And when you look at the calendar for Xbox for the rest of the year, it is scant. It's like, okay, Starfield's huge, and
Mm.
it could be monumental. It could be a Skyrim-esque
Mm.
hit for Microsoft, and that's
Yeah.
not to be understated. But like, it's that and Redfall that are scheduled for
Mm.
this year. So, there needs to be a bit more.
And Forza Motorsport 8.
Oh yeah, well, that too. Turn 10 has been working on Forza Motorsport for fucking ever. So
Yeah.
will we get a new Gears? I think we'll get a new
You
Gears
think
reveal.
so?
That's not out this year. Yeah, I think the Coalition is working on a new Gears on Unreal
But
Engine 5.
do you know? Would you
Almost.
not think like? Okay, I'm speaking completely out of turn here because I haven't played Gears for actual years. But do you not think
Or
they're a
5.
bit? Do you not think they're tired of that franchise and want to like have a crack at something different?
Probably, yeah. There's been reports that they're working on a new IP. So
Mm.
I'm not. I think they probably are working on that, but I do think before that even comes to fruition, we get a Gear 6 to close out this trilogy, because
Oh,
the
is it a
story is
trilogy?
done.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. Okay, I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
that. Cool.
Yeah, the fifth game ends with a pretty big,
Okay, so then Gear 6
like,
is like
cliffhanger. So
definitely
yeah,
on the
no,
cards.
Gear
Okay.
6 is going to be made one
Yeah.
day. It's. I think now with Unreal Engine 5, it's a good time to be like,
Mm.
check this shit out. Check what Gears can
Okay,
be now.
that makes
You know?
sense then. Cool,
So,
but this
and
is
hopefully some substantial updates for Halo, because
yeah.
boy, the temperature on that game has dropped significantly since
Mm.
launch.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a big push on, this is the next 6 months of Halo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that's like I'm always sad that E3's gone because I just like the hype of that week. But
Yeah,
this
same.
stuff like this excites me though because it means like
Yeah.
Microsoft's doing it. I mean, obviously,
Yeah, I hope Sony does a big state of play
they
during
do a
that
state of
same
play.
time.
Nintendo do a nice little
Yeah,
Nintendo
a
Direct with
direct.
Silk
Yeah, it
songs.
would be great.
So
It would be great. I hope they can't, because that first year when E3 was cancelled, it was such a mess because they were all spaced out so much. So it just felt
mm,
like every second week
yo,
was a new E3, and it was just
mm,
terrible. Like,
yeah.
get all that hype in at once. I get you, they don't want to step on each other's feet, but like,
Mm.
still,
I don't
there's
like
something to say about everything being in a week and everyone just
exactly.
being
I'm with
focused and
you where
excited.
like from a consumer point of view, I like the week of hype, but from a company
Yeah,
point of view, it's like why would you fight
exactly.
for
It makes no
the
sense for
headlines?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just get snowed under by bigger announcements.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Just quick while we're on Xbox, although this is quite cute, to just threw this in. Xbox asked a Scottish kiltmaker to create an ultra rare custom tartan controller. So,
Amazing.
sorry, audio listeners, if you can't see the
Amazing.
picture, but it is a lovely. Imagine a
Like a
kilt,
fabric
okay,
adorned Xbox
but
controller. It's
imagine it,
beautiful.
yeah, wrapped around an Xbox controller. Like,
I,
yeah,
you know what? I think that would actually be quite pleasing to use.
I also think so. But the thing is, like, how do you clean it? Do you vacuum it?
Yeah,
Do you
exactly. I
put it in a
mean,
washing
sweaty
machine?
hands on that thing, that's not gonna be a great
I don't
time.
know. It's very
Yeah.
cute.
It's very cute. I do like, and I think if you make it like removable, then it won't have the sort of like clean cut fit that it
Oh
needs to look
yeah,
nice.
it's like
You can't
fits
you can't go
super
halfway for
snugly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quite
Um,
beautiful. I do like it.
my goodness. Cool. I suppose let's bounce to Sony, the
Yeah.
the competitor and the elephant in the room with their Xbox Game Pass esque service, which oh wait, that's not the right article. Where is it? Yeah,
Near the bottom, yeah.
Sony confirms ability to extend active PlayStation Plus subscriptions blocked until premium launches in
Yeah.
June.
So if you had to ask me, this is the biggest indicator thus far that Sony and Microsoft have completely different ideas for what their subscription services are in the
Exactly.
broader picture of their like business. So Microsoft somewhat like encourages you to stack things like this, especially at least until Xbox Live Gold gets taken away, but
Mm.
you can still today stack up to like 3 years of Xbox Live Gold and then convert it all to Game Pass with a single fee. Through completely legal Microsoft avenues. Like they even advertise. Well, they advertised that as an introductory offer, but they just never took it offline. So they clearly see benefits in people locking themselves in for 3 years,
Yeah,
even at a reduced cost.
you get locked into the ecosystem. So
exactly, and then once you're in the ecosystem, they can upsell you on wherever the fucking else Game Pass will eventually be. So Microsoft's approach seems to be more subscribers at all costs. Sony seems to be subscribers, but
at a
at a
cost.
profit. Yeah. So this is to me why essentially when they announced the PS Plus, the new PS Plus tiers. So if you're unaware, PS Plus is changing in June where it will have 3 tiers. The introductory tier will be exactly what PS Plus is now. And then the middle tier will give you access to a bunch of PS4 and PS5 games similar to Game Pass. I think they said around 400 games, but they haven't specified the list yet.
No.
And then the upper tier will give you 700 games, and those include PS1 and PS2, and in some regions, PS3 titles that are available via streaming. Yes, they locked backwards compatibility behind the highest tier of a subscription. It's fucking garbage. But, it's there now. And, it's very easy to look at this and be like, this is their Game Pass competitor. But they don't want you to buy a bunch of PS Plus game time now, load your account, and then
convert
it to new time. Even though they have like a whole graph rubric, which is so confusing to follow. It's huge. On like, if you have X amount of PS Plus time in June, then it's going to be converted to X amount of new PS Plus time. Like, I think if you have a year of PS Plus in June, it will be converted into 6 months of the highest tier PS Plus. Stuff like that. Or like if you have a year again, then it will be converted to, I think, 11 or 10 months of the new standard tier. So I think the reason they've stopped this is because you and I know you can get PS Plus at a discount at various times during the year because there's so many sales on annual subscriptions and stuff, and they don't want people stacking that and then converting it. You know what I mean? I just think it's I think mostly it's fine if they did this, but when they announced their new service, they announced this then. They left a good 2 months almost between announcing and doing this. And then on top of it, they just started blocking in the background. People started realizing that they weren't able to redeem codes before Sony actually came out and said, yeah, this is actually what we've done. So from a comms point, it's just really shitty. From a business perspective, you do what's best for your business. I get it. And if this is how they want to do it, whatever. But, communicate it in a better fashion is my view. That rubric should have been out there from day one.
Yeah.
This is how it's going to affect your current subscription. So people could make an informed decision on, do I want to stack? Is it even worth it? You know what I mean?
It's weird because just this generation specifically in the year leading up to the generation, I feel that Microsoft are really making huge strides, positive strides to build the brand. And just establish goodwill with gamers. Where Sony, it feels like at every turn they're just finding some other way to piss people off more. Yeah. That's so weird.
They're just adding friction where there does not need to be any. It's very weird, and it's very easy for them, in the arena of public opinion, for Microsoft to just take easy wins.
Exactly.
In this regard. But at the end of the day, people make a very good point. They're like, not everyone owns 2 consoles. Most people own 1, and you're going to subscribe to the service for the console you own and not really give a shit about it.
No, I'm not talking about that specifically. It's more a thing of if you're on the fence, say you haven't been able to get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, and you're now deciding well, Game Pass is cheaper. In June, Xbox is showing these games. Maybe this generation, I'm going to go with Xbox. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out because, we all know, Sony destroyed with the PlayStation 4. Really great selling console, and PlayStation 5 I think would have sold better if there was stock. But
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
interesting. Just very interesting to
And I
see.
think that's where actually Microsoft is coming into its own now, is they
Mm,
are somehow finding a way to keep stock a bit more
exactly.
regular. And like even they did their financials this week, and the last quarter was like their best Xbox quarter ever outside of a holiday season.
Sure.
So they are clearly
It's like
moving.
the long-term plan's paying off, really, it feels like.
Yeah, the long-term plan is paying off, and they are moving consoles. Like
Mm,
this is a far cry from the Xbox that launched the Xbox One.
yeah.
And yes, the PS5 is still ahead in terms of raw sales, but coming off the generation they did, that's not surprising. What is surprising is just how much ground Xbox has caught up so quickly. And
Exactly.
that should raise an eyebrow at Sony, especially when they're coming to decisions like this. Like what are
Mm,
our competitors doing that is earning them so much, trust
mm.
back? And how can we afford not to make mistakes, to not like,
Piss people off.
you know, exactly. And this to me is just the opposite of doing that. So
Yeah. Well, I suppose those
bummer
are
for
the
Sony. Real own goal there, in my view. But yeah.
Cool. Well, in other Sony news, I suppose just keeping in trend, PlayStation Plus games for May
Hmm.
include FIFA 22, Tribes of Midgard, and Curse of the Dead Gods. That FIFA 22 is quite a win, I think, for PS Plus. Like quite a big game
I
to
think
to
I
slap
think
on.
it's smart because FIFA
Mm.
22 is reportedly coming to Game Pass on May 5th.
Oh, you think so?
So I think yeah, there's been a bunch of rumors saying it's, well, not coming to Game Pass, it's coming to EA
Oh, it's EA
Play
Play,
Gold,
so
which is part of Game
mm.
Pass. So I think this is EA going, yeah, we'll just put it on PS Plus and get everyone playing fucking FIFA,
I mean
3 or 4 months ahead
they
of, or 2 months ahead of us revealing a new one, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's
So,
it's funny because then like obviously the game is free, but there's a lot of
yeah.
in-game stuff that people like to spend money
Oh,
on.
absolutely,
So
yeah. I mean, it's cool because like I'm one of those people that will only casually play FIFA with a friend who comes over. So if I get access to the full game, rad. I don't
mm,
care where I'm playing it. That's cool. So
mm,
yeah, the other two are pretty neat looking games. I
mm.
think I've heard a lot about Tribes of Midgard. It's got a really cool art style, and
Isn't
then
it?
Curse of the Dead Gods is like a procedural roguelike.
Are they like Diablo-esque? Am I imagining
Sort
that?
of,
No.
yeah, sort of. So
Okay.
Curse of the Dead Gods here says it's a skill-based single-player roguelike in an Akosa temple. Uh,
Yeah,
blah blah
it's
blah. Yeah, it's like
seemingly
a procedural dungeon
okay.
crawler. Yeah, and
Okay.
Tribes of Midgard is a survival and ARPG co-op or single-player adventure.
Hold up.
Looks
So
fun.
I'll,
I think it's a cool roster. Yeah.
I just scroll down. Persona 5 will leave the PS Plus collection on May 11. Add the game to your
Yeah, that
library
was.
before then to continue to access it.
Yeah, it's the first game to actually leave
Huh.
that collection, which is strange. It must be like some licensing deal that
Mm,
lapsed because, obviously, Persona 5 is Atlas.
yes.
It's not a Sony published game, so I assume that's the only reason it's being removed. Because
Yeah.
most of the other games, they are Sony published, so there would
Yeah.
be no reason for them to be removed. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I would redeem Persona 5 because it's very fucking good.
Yeah. One day. I'll get to it. Just to bounce back to Xbox, we've got games with gold, which,
Yep.
look, thank God Xbox have Game Pass because the games with gold, like at what stage do they just do away with
Yeah,
it?
I feel like
It's,
eventually game gold is just going to disappear. Like,
I
there's
swear,
no, especially now that like free to play games don't require gold, there's really no
mm,
reason for it to exist.
like Hydro Thunder, I feel is a game that just pops up all the time on games with
Yeah,
gold.
I think actually David said it's like the second time it's been on Games for Gold, so it's like
My
a
goodness.
real crap one. The
Yeah.
good thing is that there is one really good game on this list.
Mm.
Yoku's Island Express is very
Yes,
good.
I think
Yeah,
you played that and spoke about this on the podcast.
it's like pinball and Metroidvania mixed in one. Pinball platformer Metroidvania. It's very good.
Well, there we go.
Would recommend playing
So I
that.
take it back. There's one good game in this lineup.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
Viva Pinata there, but it's not Viva Pinata.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
Party Animals.
Viva Pinata mini games.
Yeah,
So that kind of sucks. But yeah.
cool. With all the console stuff out the way, let's bounce to, I mean, Star Wars Jedi Fallen
Oh,
Order
wow.
2. Reportedly out next year for PS5, Series X and S, and PC. And now it doesn't say it here, but I think you shared a tweet, or I mean, I'm sure it says in the article, but you shared a tweet earlier this week saying that it will be exclusively next gen.
Yeah. So this is coming from Jeff Grubb, VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb. He has that show on Giant Bomb called Grub Snacks every week, where he just kind of talks about like stuff he's heard. So he's been saying for a while now that the Fallen Order sequel will be coming out this year, but it can always slip to 2023, and that seems to be the case. It'll probably be an early 2023 launch anyway.
Yeah.
But the new info was that it will be previous. It will be current gen only. So that makes me wonder, like, is this going to be Unreal Engine 5? Because if I'm not mistaken, Fallen Order was Unreal Engine 4. It didn't use Frostbite or anything like that. So maybe they're putting it to the new engine. Maybe they are just creating, planets which are far more seamless to get through. So you need like the faster SSDs, stuff like that. Either way, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's cool to have, the first game came out very late into the last gen cycle. So to have a sequel that, pushes these consoles maybe a little bit will be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, it's apparently not going to be called Fallen Order, which always made sense to me because Star Wars Jedi was always the name, and then Fallen Order was the colon.
Yeah.
So
it's like Horizon.
I don't think it's going to. Yeah, exactly. Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn. Although that one doesn't have a colon, so that's slightly more confusing.
That one was also left field because you're like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and like, no, it's Horizon Forbidden West. Like, what?
But we say this, but then you had games like Red Dead Redemption 2, which makes fuck all sense because Redemption tied into the actual story of the game. So yeah, listen, who knows? But so Jeff Grubb says they are not doing all the consoles according to Grubb, so the development team won't have to worry about trying to straddle these generation lines. So that's cool. I mean, there were already in this game a lot of instances where you did the whole slow moving through a little narrow cavern so it could load one level and deload the other one,
Yeah.
So not having that in there or just having a shorter travel time between spaces will be cool.
But also it's a thing of like, at what point do we just cut off not old consoles, like previous gen consoles? Like at some point developers have to say, like, listen, we need to move forward with these engines. It takes us resources to obviously make this work on older gen consoles, but like, at what point do they go, it's actually not worth our time? Because obviously there's a whole install base, but like becomes this thing of balancing your creative vision versus just pleasing people. So I don't know.
I reckon if the pandemic didn't happen, we would have gotten to that point mostly already.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the pandemic and
because of stock issues,
the supply lines,
exactly,
because like now publishers are going, well, shit, there's far fewer of these consoles out there than we thought there would be.
Yeah.
Like we can't just ignore, especially with what we've paid XYZ. But I think we are getting to that inflection point where it's like, it's been 2 years. The stock is relatively getting back to normalish now. You know what I mean? It's definitely not as bad as it was a year ago.
No.
So yeah, I think we'll see more of this. And also you're going to start seeing games that, started out dev with new consoles in mind. You can't have a game like this that's designed with these faster transitions between areas or levels or much larger levels suddenly scale down to smaller, because it changes the whole design structure of how the game works. So yeah, we'll see. Apparently this might be shown during Star Wars Celebration, which is happening between 26th and 29th of May. So yeah.
On May the 4th. Oh.
Yeah.
Last pieces of news. So this is also pretty left field. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a life sim adventure game coming to consoles and PC. So basically,
this looks like The Sims, right?
It's
I
like
kind of saw it, and
it's like a kind of The Sims / Animal Crossing had a baby with Disney. I guess.
Disney, that sounds like a moneymaker.
Exactly. So I think it will be free to play, but I think so. Let me just double check here.
It's got a really cool art style. Love this.
I think it will be. So it's set to release in 2023. But if you purchase, you can get an early access. Or you can get early access by purchasing a Founders Pack. Or you get it as an Xbox Game Pass member.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I think that'll be available this year, if I'm not mistaken, 2022. But the game will officially launch next year.
Okay.
So yeah, it looks
I see one
cute.
screenshot has Wally on a beach, so I'm fucking sold already.
I mean,
You know,
the art looks really
want to hang
nice.
out with that little robot dude.
Look
Yeah.
at this. We hang out with Ariel over here. We don't want to hang out with that lady.
Ursula, yeah, I don't want to hang out with Ursula. No, 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 no.
I mean, oh, there's the
Um,
Wally screenshot you mentioned. It looks cute.
yeah, I listen. Disney cross Animal Crossing, that just sounds like you are going to print fucking money.
Exactly.
If you pull that off, oh my
Oh
god.
my god,
Yeah.
there's Wally, tending to the vegetable patch. There's Goofy fishing. There's Woody and Buzz running along this pathway. I mean, like it's
I love
nostalgia,
how
right?
small they are. That's
They're
fantastic.
teeny tiny,
Like
yeah.
they aren't like human size. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, that
I
looks
love
like
that.
a good time.
Do you think this is the avenue towards Disney Smash Bros? You got all these characters in one game. Just fucking get them
Oh my god,
fighting.
just get them fighting. I mean, we've got Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts, right, which already has Disney characters fighting. Well, we just need to
exactly.
have them fight each other now.
I just want to play as the rat from Ratatouille and do a final smash on like fucking Goofy or something.
Wow, that's
All I want.
a
I
visual.
mean, yeah, that's all I want. Or I want to main Stitch. You know,
Stitch would probably be the best character because he's so destructive.
it'd be pretty fucking great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Wally would be terrible because he's like got very bad movement. And the Toy Story characters, I think the Toy Story characters should be like a Pokemon trainer sort of character. So you play as Andy,
And then you
and then you throw out Buzz and Woody and stuff. Yeah.
throw out Mr. Potato Head.
You see, or the Slinky Dog, the
Oh
Slinky
my
Dog.
god, Slinky Dog's OP.
Yeah,
Um,
hire me, Disney.
and then last pieces of news. This one surprised me. So the Overwatch 2 beta, I suppose there was a beta this week. The beta,
PvP beta, yeah.
the beta stream surpassed 1 million concurrent viewers on Twitch, which, yeah, so Overwatch 2's beta became the top streamed game on Twitch as fans seek out new gameplay and beta access through drops.
Yeah, that's. I was about to say the reason this doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me is because of that.
No, okay, yeah, that I get that now. Very clever, but it did.
It's like every game with a beta now hits this milestone purely because it's like,
People
oh,
are
if you
trying to
watch
get
6 hours,
drops.
you get a drop. It's like, okay, well, of
Yeah.
course, people are just going to leave this on in the
So
fucking
okay, that
background
makes
there.
sense because when I saw this headline, I was like, but why? Like Overwatch 2 was popular, but was it that popular that a
I
million?
watched an hour of it and I was like, I could watch an Overwatch 1 stream and not know the difference, to
Yeah,
be entirely honest.
It's still, I don't know. This game, every time we talk about it, you're going to hear me say the same thing. It's a big question mark for me. I
Yeah,
don't
it's a
know.
massive question mark to me. I just don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real weird one as well, given the timing of what's happening at Activision and Microsoft now, because it looks like it will like launch proper
Also,
when that sale goes through. So like, what the fuck is Microsoft thinking about doing with it? You know,
this also blew my mind because traditional Overwatch is 6v6, right? Now
it's 5v5 now. Yeah.
now it's 5v5. So I never thought about it. I'm like, okay, it's 5v5. But John Mark was telling me his sister is a big Overwatch fan, if I'm not mistaken, or has played Overwatch. And all she said is like, well, now it means one less person can play. And then I thought one step further, what about Overwatch esport teams?
It's a big thing there. Yeah, that change did not go down well. Yeah, the change did not go down well. But I guess they have to change the structure of something. They're like, I guess if they're going to retain the same roster and add the first new character in like what 2.5 years. Like the most they can do is be like, cool. Well, the meta's changed because each team has one less person now. So
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't
know. Yeah,
that UI looks crisp, and that's all I have to say about that. Like
nice.
I was watching the gameplay and I was like, this looks perfectly fucking engineered for the people who have still been playing Overwatch, but no one else. So
no one else. Yeah.
I just don't get it.
Yeah, and then last piece of news this week: Sifu is going to receive difficulty options this spring. So
Interesting. Yeah.
If you find the game a bit too challenging, which in all those people's defense game is, borderline brutal at certain moments, you can now choose between student, disciple, and master. Well, not yet, but obviously when it's patched in.
I assume they must have, because all companies who make games they pop in like telemetry data so they can see, how many X number of players are getting to this level, blah blah blah. They must have seen like a massive drop off, like
after
people
certain
playing it for
levels,
an
or
hour and just like not fucking touching
well,
it
I
again.
mean, we know Jeff and Darren, who were both very excited to play this game, played it and were like, no,
did not like it. Yeah, did not enjoy it. So yeah, that probably helps. There's a lot of hand wringing on like creative decisions and difficulty, but I think if your game is not hitting the numbers it needs to, this is one way to be like, hey, maybe all the discourse at the during launch was about how difficult it was. Now you can at least toggle that. So
exactly.
but what that adds or to the experience is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, but this is just the first step in a whole content roadmap. So, as the year goes on, they've got advanced scoring, gameplay modifiers, a replay editor, which I think will be very cool. Keen to
That's
see what
cool.
people do with
Yeah.
that. And then a new game mode in winter called Arenas. So that's pretty
Okay.
cool. Yeah.
There's no PvP in that game, right?
No.
Because I know a lot of it is built off of the work they did with Absolver, which was like a martial arts MMO, which had PvP. But it seems logical to me that they might maybe look at that, because that seems like a system ripe for like fighting game people to really get into. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you can engineer your existing system or to tweak it
Yeah,
to
I
have
mean, it's not like 5 lines and you've suddenly got multiplayer. It's a big undertaking, but it seems like
a
something that could be.
multiplayer equals 1. Hire
Yeah,
me.
exactly. If multiplayer true, enter 2 players into map X.
My goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is all the news.
Last news that you
Oh, did I miss one? Oh,
Call
what
of
did I
Duty Modern
miss?
Warfare 2 is
Oh, I did.
officially.
My bad.
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, we pretty much knew this already. It had been rumored. It kind of like pseudo confirmed that it was getting a sequel. It's Infinity Ward's year to do a Call of Duty, so of course they were doing this. So they just basically put out a logo and they're like, cool, Modern Warfare 2, rad.
Bam.
Probably
there's
see
the
more
logo.
of that.
Oh, that is a cool
I
logo.
don't even know when we'll see this, because last year they announced the game so fucking late in the year. Like, who the fuck knows when? Usually you could bet on it being revealed in May. You can't anymore. So yeah.
I don't like this trend of now we've rebooted, like, because Modern Warfare had a reboot, right? Like, technically.
Yeah, a very good one.
But now it's just confusing.
This is the
now
sequel to that reboot.
it's the sequel
yes.
to the reboot.
Yes. So it's very confusing because you can buy old Modern Warfare 2 from 2009. You can buy Modern Warfare 2 remastered because they remastered the game, or you can buy Modern Warfare 2.
Exactly. I don't like that. It's like, come on.
I think I saw a Kotaku article saying it is the 47th Call of Duty game.
Oh,
It's just
wow.
crazy to me.
That is insane. Well,
yeah.
There you go. Now,
listen, if I'm talking about modern Call of Duties, if I look back on the past 3 years, the reboot to Modern Warfare is my favorite one. Like Cold War was fine, and I really didn't like Vanguard last year. So Infinity Ward stuff on that original, that campaign was spectacular, and that multiplayer is still the best of the 3, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Very, very keen. And Infinity Ward has a knack for pushing the visual fatality. Can't say that word today.
Fidelity.
Yeah, fidelity. There we go. They have a knack for pushing that forward, and they've already teasing that this is the most technically advanced Call of Duty, which is as vague as you can fucking get with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, Modern Warfare when it came out was like really visually beautiful for a Call of Duty game. So yeah, keen to see what they've done with that.
Cool. Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Now that is all the news. Pew pew.
That is all the news.